Hi, everybody. It's Marilyn. This is time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. It is the 8th day of June, which is a Friday. So I'm assuming you can all hear me before I start talking to myself. How's everybody doing today? Because this has been a real interesting day. I know Marion had a great day. I think we ought to put Marion in charge of Fridays. She had just an outstanding day, and the use of this order print that she posted in her charts really is. If you didn't pick that up out of the chat, go back and find that thing, because it's really an excellent illustration of how valuable this order print is. At first, it's so confusing with numbers going everywhere, and it's, no, my goodness. But if you spend a little time with it, it can kind of take you by the hand and lead you where you need to go with trading. So let's see. We've had some of everything today, up and down, and these indices are trying to go northbound. If at all possible, they would like to do that. But it seems like they're having a little problem sorting through. Number one, it's Friday. Number two, it's a summer Friday. But this G7 is kind of interfering, I guess. Who knows? Stuff leaks out of these meetings, and sometimes it's rumor and sometimes it's real, and who knows. But if any of you were watching crude oil earlier, this was about 10:40ish. Yeah, a little after the 10:30. Something really got crude oil's attention, and it just bolted down. And from what I've been able to figure out, that was also tied to this G7 or 9 or however many they're doing. But some of these countries are having a little problem with Trump and his tariffs he wants to put on them. So who knows where we'll... Yeah, that's a good description of it. That's an excellent description of it, Chris. Yep. Anyway, whatever will be. But this is an example of when they have these kinds of things, anything can happen, and the markets can have a really fast response to it. So if you don't have your ATM strategies down real pat and make darn sure that you enter everyone with a stop loss in place, please go through your stuff this weekend and make absolutely certain. Because if you're in a trade and something like that hits and it goes really fast against you, that stop loss is the only thing that's going to save you. And that's what it's for. So take advantage of it. I mean, it's really important. So let's see. We're going to have to get a new bus driver for gold next week. This one has a real problem. He cannot get away from settlement. He's been hanging around settlement since anyway, a long time back. I can't get the chart over to far enough, but all day today, gold has done absolutely nothing. One of the interesting things, and you don't see this very often, is on that VAD-A, or I'm sorry, it's the VAD-E, what I refer to as the big VAD. The whole entire morning has been nothing but those gold-colored candles. So you don't see so many of them. Every once in a while there's one that's a caution thing, but that is the whole entire morning on gold. So anyway, the indices have been a little more active than they sometimes are. I kind of think it's due to a Friday and some more of this G, however many, 7 or 9 or whatever it is. Good day to, looks like the bond and the gold bus drivers got together and planned to do nothing for the whole day. Anyway, we've got the VIX just under 12.5, so it's not very exciting. I wanted to go over a couple of things. One is if you're going to do market replay, Aaron put an excellent reminder in here. If you're going to do market replay over the weekend, be sure you've got the June contract loaded when you do your data thing for your market replay, because if you change your contract and then try to do it, you're not going to have much. So that's a really good suggestion. Yeah, Craig, that and it happened so fast with oil, just so fast. So anyway, I think we're coming to an end on this Friday planning your journal and your planner and your financial business plan and what have you, because you should have a pretty good basis. Different things are going to work better for different people. I mean, that's one thing that you can count on. There isn't one size fits all, but the idea here was to give people enough of a basis that they could create their own and something that works for them. I can promise you it will not work if you do not use it. That's the big thing here. And keep in mind, and this is probably a good thing to put on your Daryl page of the Darylisms. He has said several times that he knows of no successful trader that doesn't keep a journal. It's really important to do that. So what do you put in that journal and that your daily journaling of what trades you're taking? One of the things that's the most important, and I think it's overlooked a lot, is the emotion that you feel, because since this is a head game, it's what's in your head when you took that trade. And if you can identify that, particularly with the trades that don't work out well, then you got 50% of the battle won right there, because you've identified what's in your head or how you're feeling or what the emotion is when you took a trade that you really wished you had not. Now, if you take it and you followed all the rules, that's fine. Didn't work out, 100% of them, there's no such thing. Not every single trade is going to work out. But if you traded well, then that's fine. But if you did something, you took a trade, you took it early, you were in a hurry, whatever it was, if you can jot that down in your daily journal and identify that, then you're halfway there to correcting it. You can't correct what you don't know you're even looking for. And one of the things that every trader does, we all go through this, is that business of revenge trading. And we've had people at Apex who got into some real difficulties with that stuff. It's men do it more than women do, and there's a reason for that. It's the way our brains are hardwired, and this is from hundreds, if not thousands, of years, kind of built into the DNA. But men have a tendency to, if they get poked, it's kind of that poke the bear. If they get poked by that market, their gut reaction, without even thinking about it, is to turn around and smack at one. Well, that isn't going to work very well in trading. So it's the, without realizing what you're doing, it's kind of a payback thing, mentality that you get into. Women do it, but they don't do it with the frequency that men do. And I think that's because men kind of, if they get cornered and they get in a real uncomfortable position, their tendency to get out of it is to get out of it physically. And women already know that isn't going to work for them. So their tendency is to think of an alternate way around it. So the business about revenge trading, the getting in a rush, the thinking of that the trade is going to happen and leave you behind and there won't be any more trades. If you can identify when that hits you, you can realize immediately that you have to step back, take a bigger picture look, and realize there are trades everywhere, every day. There's no shortage of trades. You're not going to get left behind. It won't happen. You just have to wait for another bus. That's all. If you miss the bus, you have to wait at the bus stop for another bus. Not a problem. The buses run all day. They run all night. They run all the time except for 4:15 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. So, and sometimes there may be more buses than other times, but these are common things that we all kind of struggle and go through, trying to perfect, if there's any such thing, our trading and our trading style. If you start your day with that journal and take just 2 or 3 minutes to jot down what you want to accomplish today, right, and put it in a positive affirmation. I think people, they take a losing trade and then they are so busy beating themselves up or beating the market up or whatever it is that they don't realize you have to just take a breath, start over again, no problem, but do not get off in that negativism because it will carry over to your trading. And it's very difficult to overcome that if you allow it to come into your trading. So I guess the bottom line here is with this emotional thing, if you can identify, and also identify when you've had a really good trade, what was it that made that trade so good and made you take that trade? Because whatever that is, that's considered your zone. And if you want to trade in the zone, try to identify what that is for you and how you get yourself in there and keep your mental um, acumen for trading in that zone, because that if, especially if you spend some time with Mark Douglas's book Trading in the Zone, it'll really help with the journaling. And another thing that Daryl keeps talking about is, as the money becomes available in your account, take it out, take some out, and do something for yourself. Do something for yourself that you wouldn't ordinarily do. It's your little reward, because these kind of games that you have to play, really, they, I guess what I'd say is they all add up, because, I mean, think about it. Your friends and family don't really get it. They don't understand trading. They don't do it. They probably think we're all nuts. I'm not sure I could argue against that, but that you are the only one that takes all the risk. You take all the everything that goes with this kind of a business, if you will. So when you take money out of your account, do something nice for yourself. It's your reward. It's your bonus. That's what it is. It's your little bonus. So anyway, this is all, I think Sherry's recording this today, or she's taking notes or whatever. She'll get all these into the forum. And then if you stumble across something that's really helped you or really worked for you, by all means, put it in the same part of the forum, because the whole purpose of this is that we can all, as we go along here, we can all find little things that'll help each other. And a lot of it is the head game. That's probably the hardest thing to get, because at first, all the system and the indicators and the strategy is, and recognizing it is kind of overwhelming. But once you get that, then it's this head game really is the thing. That's a place to work on yourself. And yeah, don't you love that, Aaron? That is so great. That day trading is, well, it's not a real job. Yeah, right. If it's not a real job, then why isn't everybody and their brother doing it? This is hard, and it's hard work. And anybody that tells you that this is easy and anybody can do it, they either don't know, or they're just flat out handing you a line, because this is very difficult. It's simple, and we could all make it a lot more simple if we didn't get all this stuff in our head. So yeah, I love that one. That's not a real job. So anyway, anything that you can come up with that has helped you or worked for you, please add that to the post in the forum so we can all benefit from it. So next week, we're going to have this wonderful meeting in Singapore. And in the U.S., it'll be on the 11th, as I understand it. And then the 11th in the U.S. is really the 12th in Singapore. So for those couple of days, we're going to kind of have to pay attention to what's going on, because today, if you could see this this huge, instant, sudden, bursting movement in crude oil, depending on what comes out of this meeting, the markets they'll have something to say about it. So pay attention to that. And then on Monday, real early in the morning, there's British pound news, and the big one at 4:30 on Monday morning is the Brits manufacturing production. So it's been down from what they forecast, and that's a big number for them. So if you like to trade that the British pound, that's likely to have a response to that number. And for us, we don't really have anything Monday, but Monday and Tuesday be a real good idea to be quite cautious. So that's, Marion, that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'll tell you right now that I have seen people come and go that I know for a fact they could do this. No question they could do this. But they do it to the point where they get frustrated and they realize that it's a head game. And they go through a phase where first they blame Apex, then they blame the market, then they blame the market makers, then it's their brokerage, then it's the CME, then it's the SEC, then it's the president, then it's the Clintons, then it's the list just goes on and on and on and on, because they refuse to grasp the idea that, and that's Amazon's fault, and they refuse to grasp the idea that they are the problem. And the reason they stop and they go off and do something else is because once you grasp the idea that it's yourself, then obviously some changes, or what I think is a better word is adjustments. You're not going to change yourself. You're not going to change anything else. But you can make minor adjustments. And over time, those minor adjustments and little building better habits, that's what will really give you a better result. It's the Russians, and then it's the Martians, and then it's the UFOs, and there's just absolutely no end to whose fault it is. But the reality is, it's each of us has to take the responsibility for our own trading and our own behavior. And one other quick thing I'll tell you that I have discovered, and it's, of course, I discovered it with myself first, but I think other people do this. You are looking so, diligently for your trade and your trade setups and what have you, and pretty soon you've got your nose pasted right up on that monitor. If you can learn to push back away from that monitor and take a big breath and get a bigger picture and a bigger perspective, you'll see that you are trying to make a trade happen that isn't really there. Voice of experience says. So anyway, you do. Success in this business is like going to the bathroom. You have to do it yourself. That's very true. And so, anyway, this is all kind of a group effort to help each other, and I hope that as we go along, some more tips and tidbits will become available in that forum under this category. So, anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I guess we'll have to stay tuned to the news for next week. And it's the week after. Yeah, we got the week after that. We'll have the OPEC meeting in Vienna. So anyway, this has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful weekend and stay safe. Enjoy some of this beginning summer weather. So I'll talk to you Monday. Thanks.